Hey everyone, Julie sent us our mystery envelope and she said that it would be fun to bring back a challenge that we did, and this time we're going for high score. I had sent out the challenge and gave them, they got so many points for using certain things, but this time instead of trying to score a perfect 10, Julie says go for high score. So Kim, we know what score we need to, beat from our last competition. So you get a point for each paper collection you use. Well, we were doing stash busting earlier in the month, so I have all of these. You can see Hip Hip Hooray, Celebrate Today. I think we're in this together. Oh My Heart. So I have this. There's some Emporium from a long time ago. So I have this, and I'll probably pull out more. So that's 1 point each. And then stamp set we use. I'm not sure what stamp sets I'll use yet until I get my photos. And then 3 points for each technique. So I grabbed my technique book here where I have all of my techniques. So I will definitely be pulling from that. And then 5 points if we use these papers, and 10 points if we include Mickey. And it truly can be a hidden Mickey, Julie said. So let me clear this up, grab some photos, and we'll see what we can do. All right, so I found some photos from a second grade school field trip. And so I love the toothless smile and the joy. My husband happened to be home, and so he was signed up to go on this field trip with our daughter. And as it turned out, it was a really good thing because I and our youngest were in the hospital after I'd given birth. He was very jaundiced and a pumpkin baby. So here I am going to use the sheets that Julie sent, and I want to know what colors are in the Let's Party paper. So I know that I don't have many papers with jade, so I'm going to concentrate on the Bluebird, Candy Apple, and the Sundance. And especially the Sundance, because these photos don't have a lot of colors in them. There's a little bit of blue haze in the background of the photo on the left, and then on her hat is kind of a pastel-y rainbow look, and that's about the only colors that are really in this. So I'm going to try to pull complementary colors. I want to use lots of papers because you get 1 point for each of those. So that's kind of what's going through my head. Here's some cardstock that maybe I'm going to want to punch some titles out of. I don't know. I realized partway through picking papers that cardstock doesn't count as a paper pack. So I am really leaning towards my pattern papers. And in going through things, I found this notebook paper that it looks like was part of something cut out on the Cricut. So I'm going to use it to be the mat for all of my photos, and then I can do some journaling down in the corner. So let me mark my top and bottom here roughly. I will cut those out, and then I will have a place to put my photos. And then I'm going to audition different papers. I think I want to have a frame around the outside, and also that'll allow me to have different, I don't know, it kind of just allows everything to get focused, because I know that I'm going to have a lot of pattern papers, or I'm hoping to, without getting things too muddy. So I really like from Fresh Paint this ombre. It works against the blue because blue and orange are complementary colors, but I need something that's going to kind of anchor it. And there you can see that I was going to use that blue cardstock, but instead going for pattern paper. Got to get my 1 point. So my photos are moving around too much. I'm going to try to adhere things so that they don't bump around too much, and that will allow me to just kind of have a little peace as I'm pushing past my comfort zone and bringing in all of these different patterns. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to stamp my lines for journaling, which would give me another point, or if something else is going to come up. So I'm just going to leave that for now, and then I will kind of look at how wide I want this piece of blue to be. I'm thinking that maybe it will have a banner end. In the end, I decide that I'm just keeping it clean, because with so many layers, I think adding another dimension of a shape like that banner end would just be a little too much. So I know I'm going to put this Let's Party paper in there because I want my 5 points. Yes, Julie, I am a little competitive. This is a great challenge for me. So I really am a visual person, so I'm just going to keep adding different layers. I like the heart on this because it has a little bit of pink that's on the brim of the hat, but it also has that red in there, so it's kind of interesting. At this point, I'm not feeling it, and I think what makes the difference is I went back to my paper bin and I found Smarty Pants, and that's where this black comes in. And because her shirt has black and the boat has black and there's kind of shadows in it, I thought, all right, I need to actually put some black to really anchor this page down. So I cut 11 by 11 and a quarter, and the piece, the ombre yellow to orange from Fresh Paint, is 11 by 11. So there's only going to be 1/8 of an inch peeking out around all of that. And to make sure that I don't lose track of that, I'm writing those down. And then I did want to go ahead and bring some of that framing onto our layers of paper. And I feel like this is good. I like the layers that are going on. I added, I think from Smarty Pants, that rainbow notebook paper. That'll be my journaling. And so now I am adding some techniques to this page. And the first one I'm going to do is on this heart paper. I'm doing some edge distressing of the paper. And you can either do that with an edge distresser, or as you saw, I did it a little bit with my fingernail. And so either one works. I know some people have had success with scissors. I have not. So I've done the edge distressing that way. Now I'm going to do some paper tearing. I thought I was going to go down the whole edge, but then when it tore off kind of before I got halfway through, I'm like, oh, I kind of like that better. So did that on opposite corners. And then again, another way to distress your edges is with your blending tool. So of course I'm doing that with the black. And just now, do you feel this? For me, it's like my anxiety level can just take a breath, can breathe again. I feel like it's finally coming together. And it's funny, even just a couple of years ago, I was not comfortable with doing paper layering like this, but now I love it. So I've gone to my technique tag book and I saw stitching. So Jessica, this is doing this with you in mind. So I'm using my ruler and I'm going to go ahead and make some kind of splashes that I'm hoping will mimic the effect of water. And how I do my stitching is I go ahead and punch the holes first lightly, and then I will go back holding the paper up and punch using the piercing tool again all the way through to make bigger holes. And then that allows me to go back with my needle and embroidery floss, and I use 3 strands to just back stitch all of these lines. So that's another technique. I am now adding liquid glass to each of those pink hearts. So I'll do that along the top and along the bottom, and I will need to let those dry. So while those are drying, I'm trying to decide what I want for stamps, and I know I need a title. So like I said, while the liquid glass was drying, I went to my stamp stash and pulled out from the Live Beautifully campaign stamp from a while ago this word smile. Because I am using kind of black as my accent color here, that's again what I'm going to use for stamping. This is just the basic black from Close to My Heart. It's not archival. It's just the basic black dye ink. I really struggled with how to line this word up, especially because it was going to be going up the side of the page and the font is a little off line. So I'm making sure that I'm going to be heavy in techniques because you get 3 points for each of those. I definitely am going to hide this Mickey as you get 10 points if it's on your layout. So Julie, I have done a hidden Mickey. You can kind of see a little bit of him. And then I realized I wanted to do some blender brush background with ink. And the only place that I really felt that I could do that was behind the photos. Originally, I thought the photos were going to be a little lost with all the paper, but because of this notebook page that I found in my scraps, I think it's just fine to add a little bit of this blue behind there. Now for me, if you've noticed, I started where I knew the photo was going to be in the center and then worked at blending that brush out. And because there was some adhesive, sorry, I couldn't think of that word, there was some adhesive on that background. That's kind of where you saw some of the really dark edges. So as long as I started in the middle where I knew it was going to be covered, then I could kind of blend out to the edges, and that worked well for me. So I've done that technique. Now I'm grabbing my shimmer brush and I'm just going over my stamped image. It has had time to dry now. I wouldn't go right over a stamped image with the shimmer brush. I would give it a little bit of time to truly soak into the paper. Dye ink works well that way. So between the shimmer brush and the liquid glass and the blender brush, and now I'm going to do generation stamping. So with the Bluebird ink, I am taking these kind of hash marks or tally marks, I should say, from the Life's a Hoot stamp set. And I'm doing first generation, then second generation, and just kind of highlighting the opposite corners from the ones that I ripped. And if I had to do anything over again, I think I would have eliminated that step. But it's done. I don't think it detracts from it. I just think I would have eliminated that. I don't think it adds to the layout. So here I've gone back to my sticker sheets from all of these paper packs, and I am pulling out different stickers. The ones that are in black says Moments Like This. And then I'm using my red shimmer brush to color in these hearts from the Dream Big or Best Day stamp paper pack. I don't remember the name of it, I apologize. And so I am pop dotting these on. So again, that's one more technique being used. So as I'm closing out here, I realized I haven't done my stenciling. So I went to my stencils and I pulled this one out as kind of like stars and circles. And they're just a little bigger than 1/8 of an inch. So I'm just gonna do 3 areas of stenciling on this with the Bluebird ink. And it's funny, I'm not sure that I would have done this without the challenge of having to do all of these techniques to earn points. But once it's done, I love it. So you might get sick of seeing stenciling on my layouts, but I absolutely think it elevated this layout particularly to a whole new level. All right, I think I'm done. And now we're gonna add up our score. So 1 point for each paper collection. I think I used Celebrate Today, Fresh Paint is a couple of these, Smarty Pants, this is Smarty Pants, and Oh My Heart is there. So I have 4 points for that, and then 1 point for each stamp set you use. So this was one for the title, and then this was another one of Life's a Hoot. So there's 2 for that. And then for techniques, I actually think I have 10. So I did paper ripping here, or actually paper ripping I did here and here, edge distressing here, ink distressing here and around there, stitching, liquid glass. I don't know if you can see that on the heart, if I can get the right angle, but there's liquid glass on those hearts. Pop dot, these are pop dotted. Shimmer brush on my title. Generation stamping, so this is first generation, second generation, so I did that. Ink brush blending in the background, so there's some back here. And then stenciling with ink, I did in these 3 spots. Now I could go back with the stencil, like a different stencil, and do it with texture paste, but I think we're getting a little carried away. But we've had a lot of fun. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 techniques. And then 5 points if you use the Let's Party paper pack, which I did. 10 points if you include your Mickey, which I did here, and it is mostly hidden, Julie. So we have 10 points for that. So we have 10 plus 5, 3 points for my 10 techniques, plus 30, plus 2 points for stamps, and 4 points for paper collections, which gives us a whopping total, looks like, of 51 points. So be sure to check out what the other makers with heart did and see who has the high score. It'll be interesting to see. Their links will be below the description or in the video description. And also there's a playlist. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.